Mayor and Alderman meeting is called to order. Please stand and we'll say the pledge.
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Before we get started tonight, I want to congratulate Springfield High School football team. I'm very proud of what they've done this year, and I thank them for recognizing, putting us on the map of being in the regional tournament. So congratulations.
Mayor, I'd like
Sir.
to add something to the agenda before we start.
Sir?
Request the city attorney to apprise the board on the city's position, having learned the recent developments of a CSX check being deposited that this board previously rejected entering into that agreement.
Okay. And you would like to hear the city attorney's opinion?
I have some questions for him.
Okay. What are your questions that you want to add to the agenda?
I need to add it to the agenda someplace.
Okay. What would you want to make the statement?
Request the city attorney to apprise the board on our position with CSX.
Okay. Mr. Sneed, the agenda. We can proceed with a vote, or how should we do that, Ms. Barty? We need a second?
You would need a second. However, we have discussed before that it is not appropriate to add items to the agenda that has already been published.
Okay.
Point of order, City Council.
Sir?
There's no requirement that the agenda be published, only the meeting be published. The agenda being published is purely for the benefit of whomever wants to see it. It's not a requirement. Correct?
No, Mr. Sneed.
That is correct.
Respectfully, Mr. Sneed, as we have discussed multiple times, when an agenda is published, whether required or not, if an agenda is published, then that agenda is what the general public expects to be on the agenda. Thus, there is not sufficient public notice so that someone who is interested in whatever you would like to add to the agenda could be here to hear the discussion.
This board
Okay,
has
thank you.
This board has the authority to add things to the agenda, correct?
Not at a meeting.
You're wrong.
Thank you.
You are wrong, and
Mr.
we do it all the time. Matter of fact, there's something on this agenda right now that was added through an email that was different than what was advertised. That's just flat out wrong. Go
Mr.
ahead.
Sneed, our attorney has said that we cannot add to the agenda.
She's wrong. She's
Okay.
wrong.
Well,
Mayor.
sir.
I questioned that because I felt that we have that authority, okay, to add.
We've done that all the time.
We've done that all the time. I have to go along with it now.
Okay.
We have added to the published agenda.
But not at the meeting have we added to the published agenda.
Before the meeting starts, at the point of time that I told her I wanted to add something to the agenda is the appropriate time to do it before we get into the meeting, at the beginning of the meeting.
Put it on the agenda. We've done that before.
Every time that I have been asked if it is appropriate to add an item to the agenda at a meeting, my response has been, it is inappropriate to add.
That's your opinion. That's not law.
Because the agenda has been published and it.
On to 1.2, approval of the minutes of the regular meeting of the Board of Mayor and Aldermen held on October 20th, 2020. Are there any corrections to the minutes?
Move to approve.
Second.
Thank you. Any discussion? We're going to have a voice roll call tonight. Our technology is not working. I'll go ahead and apologize if I mess up tonight because I've gotten used to the electronic way of doing business. Will you call the roll, please?
Harris.
Yes.
Trotter.
Aye.
Schneider.
Aye.
Gregg. Hubbard.
Aye.
Sneed.
Aye.
Pass 6-0.
Thank you, Ms. Brickles. Our public hearing will now start. Item number 1 on our public hearing is ordinance 20-21, a ordinance amending section 11-605 of the Springfield zoning ordinance entitled Commercial Service Districts by amending section 8, E, and G. If there's anyone that would like to speak to the public hearing, please come forward to the mic and state your name, and you have 2 minutes to speak. There's no one that would like to speak? The public hearing is closed. Public hearing number 2. Ordinance 20-22, an ordinance rezoning one parcel located in the 9th Civil District on Bill Jones Industrial Drive from R10 Medium Density Residential District to MRO Multiple Residential and Office District. If you would like to speak, please come to the mic. No one would like to speak? The public hearing is closed. We will move on to 2.1. Discuss and possible take action on ordinance 20-21 on a second reading. An ordinance amending section 11-605 of the Springfield zoning ordinance entitled Commercial Service Districts by amending section A, E, and G. Do we have a motion to discuss?
So moved.
Thank you. Do we have a second?
Second.
Thank you. Any questions on this second reading? No questions or discussion? Call the roll, please. Ms. Brickles?
Trotter.
Aye.
Hubbard.
Aye.
Schneider.
Aye.
Sneed.
Aye.
Gregg.
Aye.
Harris.
Yes.
Passed 6-0.
Thank you. 2.2, discuss and possible take action on ordinance 20-22 on a second reading. An ordinance rezoning one parcel located in the 9th Civil District on Bill Jones Industrial Drive from R10 Medium Density Residential District to MRO Multiple Residential and Office Districts. Do we have a motion to discuss?
So moved.
Second.
Thank you. Questions? Gentlemen? No questions or discussion? We're ready for a roll call, please.
Sneed.
Aye.
Harris.
Yes.
Hubbard.
Yes.
Gregg.
Aye.
Schneider.
Aye.
Trotter.
Yeah.
Passed 6-0.
Thank you. 2.3, discuss and possible take action on ordinance 20-23 on a first reading. Ordinance amending the fiscal year 2021 annual budget for the city of Springfield by amending certain general fund operating budgets. Do we have a motion to discuss?
So moved.
Second.
Thank you. Ms. Brickles, this is a first reading. Will you please read this for the record?
Ordinance 20-23, an ordinance amending the fiscal year 2021 annual budget for the city of Springfield by amending certain general fund operating budgets. Whereas it is necessary to amend the city of Springfield annual budget for the fiscal year 2021 in order to meet the requirements of the city charter. Now therefore be it ordained by the Board of Mayor and Aldermen of Springfield, Tennessee, that the city of Springfield annual budget for fiscal year 2021 is hereby amended to make necessary changes to expenditures and revenues within the funds and departments as set forth in Exhibit A attached. All ordinances, resolutions, and policies in conflict herewith are hereby rescinded to the extent of the conflict only.
Thank you. Discussion and questions. I'm sure our city manager, Ms. Holt, would love to be quizzed tonight. She's on her downhill slide of retirement. Notice I didn't say that Lisa would answer these questions. Any questions, gentlemen? No questions? We're ready for a roll call if you're
Harris.
caught up.
Harris.
Yes.
Schneider.
Aye.
Hubbard.
Aye.
Trotter. Sneed.
Aye.
Gregg. Passed 6-0.
Thank you. 2.4, discuss and possible take action on Resolution 20-29, a resolution declaring certain properties surplus and authorizing the disposal of such properties. Do I have a motion and a second?
So moved.
Second.
Thank you. We do this each and every month. This is normal.
No, this is not the same thing.
Oh, okay. Yes, that's right. I'm sorry. I did read that once upon a time on Sunday night. Any questions?
Yes.
Yes, sir. Mr. Gregg?
In what manner are we going to dispose of
Okay, of course, it's up to the board how to handle it, but you all had asked us to come back with a method that was different from the way we're doing the surplus tax properties. So what we thought we could do is market each property individually, and that would include advertising it on websites, social media, newspapers, Smoky Barn, whatever, and get submittals of prices by December 31st, and then bring it to the board, and that's it, period, and bring it to the board in January. Now, this board would, that way there won't be any back and forth. People should make their best offer. And so that way, you can also reject it. There's no obligation on this board's part to accept any of the offers, but that's pretty much what we came up with. If you have something different, we'll certainly entertain it.
Okay. Questions, gentlemen?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
The
Mr.
reason
Sneed.
we're doing this different is because if we did it like the other surplus, when it goes through its process, it's final, it's sold, right? That's why we're doing these different.
Well, these were worth more. These were they're separate properties that were not obtained in the same method, and this board had said that they thought that more money could be made by doing it a different way.
Right, and you could reject bids where
Right.
on the other way.
Right.
When
Right.
it's exhausted, it's done.
Right. You're correct.
Any other questions?
And, yes, sir?
So basically, you're taking sealed bids or just,
Yes. Basically, it would be a written offer and a sealed bid or whatever, yeah.
But
okay.
this is not going to be a going back and forth
No.
No.
Best offer.
unless we reject the offer.
A best offer by December 31st. I would
Well,
like...
I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, I would point out that we did make a change on the Queen Anne Court property, so that before, it was just the house and you'd have to move it. So a suggestion was made to carve out a parcel for that, and that's what was done. So it would actually be the house and the land, which would make it sell a lot easier.
Yes. Mr. Harris, you had more questions? Mr. Sneed, you have a...
I think this is a mistake, because this is leading right back to the reason why we came up with the procedure that allowed it advertised and allowed a 10% increase because of the suspected collusion between people who bid on these things. We were selling properties so low, it was ridiculous, and that's why we created, and I made amendments to make the 10% 30-day advertisement, because we used to sell things like this very cheaply.
Okay.
The program for the surplus property advertising 2%, that's what's made us more money.
All right. Any other discussion? No other discussion? We're ready for a roll call.
Schneider,
Aye.
Harris,
Yes.
Gregg, Sneed,
No.
Trotter,
Aye.
Hubbard.
Aye.
Pass 5-1.
Thank you. 2.5, discuss and possible take action on Resolution 20-39, a resolution authorizing the distribution of longevity pay to full-time employees for the city of Springfield.
So moved.
Thank you.
Second.
Thank you. We do this every year at this time of the year for our longevity pay for our employees. We have a great group of employees, and we want to make sure they get that pay. Any discussion?
That's a good incentive
Yes, sir?
to let them know that we care about them and respect their employment.
Any other discussion? Call the roll, please.
Hubbard,
Aye.
Sneed,
Aye.
Harris.
Yes.
Trotter.
Aye.
Schneider.
Aye.
Gregg. Pass 6-0.
Thank you. 2.6, discuss and possible take action on Resolution 20-40, a resolution accepting an irrevocable letter of credit from Blackman Homes, Inc., in the amount of $138,200 in order to guarantee the completion of streets, drainage, electrical improvements at the Greens at the Legacy Townhouse subdivision.
So moved.
Second.
Thank you. Any discussion? No discussion? Ready for a roll call.
Harris,
Yes.
Trotter.
Aye.
Schneider.
Aye.
Gregg. Hubbard.
Aye.
Sneed.
Aye.
Pass 6-0.
3.1, Discuss and possible take action on the adjustment of the retail electric rates for the Springfield Electric Department due to the wholesale fuel cost adjustments by TVA.
So moved.
Second.
Thank you. Do you have good news for us?
1.7% this month.
Increase. We like down. Okay. Come back next month with better news. All right. Any discussion? Oh, I'm sorry. We didn't get a motion? Okay.
You did? Yeah.
He's a move, that's a second.
Oh, sorry. I
Okay.
missed it.
It's fine. We're doing it by hand, not by electronics.
She can't hear with that mask on.
She does a great job. We'll give her a minute. You're fine. Any questions? Call the roll, please.
Trotter.
Aye.
Hubbard.
Aye.
Schneider.
Aye.
Sneed.
Aye.
Gregg. Harris.
Yes.
Pass 6-0.
3.2, discuss and possible take action on the adjustments in the monthly gas rates of the Springfield Gas Department. Do we
So
have-
moved.
Thank you.
Second.
Thank you. I hope you have better news.
It is good news. Purchase gas adjustments down 13.14%.
Now that's down.
Great.
This is a, I know, it's your first meeting and we're gonna be gentle on you. Maybe, maybe not. Break you in right. Okay, any discussion? We better vote quick. Call the
Sneed.
roll, please.
Sneed.
On 3.2,
2.
aye.
Harris.
Yes.
Hubbard.
Yes.
Gregg. Schneider.
Aye.
Trotter.
Aye.
Pass 6-0.
Thank you. 3.3, discuss and possible take action on the appointment to the various boards and commission. Do we have a motion to discuss?
So moved.
Second.
Thank you. Ms. Holt?
Okay, there are quite a few of these, and I just wanted to say that these are the expiring terms for November. We'll have more next month. But everyone did not get a complete list of all of these appointments that are expiring. So since wards 4, 5, 6, as well as the mayor, we just had an election, and we have one alderman that hasn't been sworn in yet. So you may need another month to talk to your people, because I have a feeling that some of you probably haven't had a chance to talk to these people. So I know several people on the Planning Commission are not interested in another term, and there could be more that we know of, but we know Alan Powell, Mike Hollingsworth, and Wanda Mason have stated that they're not. So I think there's going to be a lot of changes. And I think when you talk to your appointees, you need to stress the importance of not only are they willing to serve, but are they able? And attendance at these meetings has gotten kind of slack, I think. And so we need to find people that will make a commitment to serve and to attend these meetings. And so you can bring those recommendations back next month if you want to, and we'll have more next month. So
Please.
I just wanted to throw that's an option, since there were so many of them. Usually the end of the year, November, December, we do have a lot. But you can certainly do it next month if you feel more comfortable with it and have a chance to talk to them.
I would prefer waiting till next month.
So would I.
Amendment to the motion,
Okay.
that we table it for 1 month or postpone it for 1 month.
Motion on the floor.
Second.
Thank you. Any more discussion on the amendment? No discussion on the amendment? I'm going to give Ms. Brickles time to...
You're good.
Okay. We're ready for a vote.
This is the motion to table.
Motion to table, yes, sir.
Schneider.
Aye.
Harris.
Yes.
Gregg. Sneed.
Aye.
Trotter.
Aye.
Hubbard.
Aye.
Pass 6-0.
Thank you. 3.4, discuss and possible take action to accept the product donation from Diskins Disc Golf Group. Goodness, that's a mouthful. In the amount of $3,300 to add the 9-hole disc golf course at the J. Travis Price Park. Motion to discuss?
So moved.
Second.
Thank you.
Who did? Trotter.
And Mr. Gregg.
Well, Hubbard said first.
Oh,
and then they
okay.
said second.
It's good.
Mayor,
Yes, sir.
it's Mr. Martin for some explanation.
Mr. Martin, will you come to the microphone, please?
You might be trying to undercut our golf course.
Oh, no. No, totally different.
Yeah, I know it.
Totally different sport.
Jordan Webster is the gentleman's name, and they call themselves the Diskin Disciples. It's just a disc golf. I don't know if you're familiar with disc golf or not. It's
Yes.
got the baskets for the hole markers. They brought some temporary goals out there one time, some holes, and they had like 60 or 70 people that showed up, and they're just like fired up about the fact that we're
Yeah.
going to if they could put a disc golf course in at Travis Price Park, and they're going to start off with 9 holes, and hopefully
fun.
eventually be 18.
It's fun.
Yeah.
Is it like a Frisbee or is
Yeah, it is. But don't say Frisbee to these people. It's the disc.
Where are they gonna locate, up on the hill?
Yes. This 9 will be in the back, and then eventually we'll put some holes in the wooded area where the one of the equipment buildings are. So yeah, they've got a good layout.
Any other questions? Yes, sir.
I've watched them for about an hour last month. And they come from all around
Oh yeah.
the state. So
And ages are from,
Yeah.
there was some 6 and 7-year-olds out there.
70-years out there.
Yeah,
trying to-
there's all different ages. So
So-
it's good exercise.
I could be challenging you to,
Oh, yeah.
we could do a charity.
Well, I beat you because I already know how to do it. I'm a bad boy back in the 30s.
Moving right along.
Wonder what charity's coming forward to get us
I
to,
still got my stroke.
okay. Any questions about this donation? We thank them for this. Ready for the roll call?
Hubbard.
Aye.
Sneed. Harris.
Yes.
Trotter.
Aye.
Schneider.
Aye.
Gregg. Pass 6-0.
Thank you. 3.5, discuss and possible take action to approve a contract in the amount of $535,010 from CNC Contracting LLC of Russellville, Kentucky for the Martin Luther King Jr. Park expansion, the LPRF improvement. Motion to discuss, please.
So moved.
Second.
Thank you. Questions to approve this contract?
Comment.
Sir?
In this contract, I would recommend that all work be done by the contractor. So he'll be responsible for all, that's from the concrete laying and all. So
Okay.
all work stay with him. Mr. Martin, would you like to kind of?
It's been about 1 year since the opinion of probable cost came out, and as we got closer to putting this out to bid, we didn't know how the numbers were going to look coming back. So we added, we offered to TDEC 2 options, alternate 1 and alternate 2, that the city could pull out, and we could absorb the cost on that to give us a better rate. One of the issues is with the concrete. Mr. Smith is the one that just poured the concrete for the basketball court at J. Travis Price Park, and it ended up having some air in the concrete, which caused the whole surface to chip, and he had to redo it all at his cost. So we didn't know if we were going to be under budget or not. We've come in under budget by a substantial amount, so we really feel good about the fact that if we can get the contractor to handle all of this, it would be better suited for the city.
I second that.
Okay. Any other questions while he's at the mic? Okay. Any other discussion? We're ready for a roll call.
Harris.
Yes.
Trotter.
Aye.
Schneider.
Aye.
Gregg. Hubbard.
Aye.
Sneed. Pass 6-0.
Thank you. 3.6, discuss and possible take action on an employment contract for the incoming city manager. Do we have a motion to discuss?
So moved.
And do we have a second?
Second.
Thank you. Questions, gentlemen?
Mayor,
Yes, sir.
I think that Mr. Martin and Ms. Barty and I sat down for some time and went back and forth and have come up with, I think, what is a fair and workable contract between Mr. Martin and the city of Springfield. There was concessions on both sides, and the agreement that we come to, and I think we brought a good contract back for consideration tonight.
And thank you for participating in that, Vice Mayor. Appreciate your hard work on that. Any questions on this?
I'm pleased with it,
Okay.
and I think it would cover his responsibility to us, and compensate him well.
Yes, Mayor.
Yes, sir. Mr. Snead?
This general expense where it's compensating $100 for a mobile phone device,
Yes, sir.
who would not have a mobile phone that they would use for their personal use, that if they're working, that they would be expected to use that phone? At my work, we're expected to have a phone. They don't compensate us for our phones. Why would we expect anybody at this day and time to be compensated for your cell phone?
A lot of us get compensated for phones and then
Well,
working.
a lot of us don't too. I think that's probably something a little old-fashioned to be paying people for their cell phones. It's kind of,
Cell phones get higher and higher every day.
we're making six figures here.
Okay.
This is not a starter job.
With
right.
his responsibilities,
Quick.
I feel that is necessary, and I definitely go along with that.
Okay. Any other discussion before we're ready to call the roll?
I see that we've doubled the severance from 3 months from the current and previous. We're doubling to 6 months severance if terminated.
Yes, sir.
Why did that need to be doubled?
It's a pretty standard in city managers
That's true.
across Middle Tennessee.
That's standard.
But what was the purpose
Okay,
of doubling it?
We'll let someone that was on that committee. I didn't serve on that committee, but I know from going to TML things that that's pretty normal.
Talk.
Hold on. Ms. Barty or Mr. Harris or,
That was just one of the concessions that we went back and forth with, and I think it's an acceptable thing to ask for. It's pretty standard in most of the other contracts that Ms. Barty looked at, and
pretty well
personally,
across the board in
yeah.
Middle Tennessee.
From what other contracts that she reported back to us on, and I have no problem with it.
Okay.
If you give
Other
me a
questions?
If you give me a chance on the National League of Cities, that is standard across America, period.
Yes, sir. For executives. Any other questions? Comments? Call the roll, please.
Trotter.
Aye.
Hubbard.
Aye.
Schneider.
Aye.
Sneed.
Aye.
Gregg. Harris.
Yes.
Passed 6-0.
Thank you. 3.7, discuss and possible take action to solicit proposals for the selection of a city attorney to provide legal services for the city of Springfield.
So move.
Second.
Okay? Discussion?
How will this be handled?
Ms. Holt?
Well, we had suggested putting notices out with the bar associations. We want licensed attorneys. So with the bar associations of Robertson County, Sumner County, and Montgomery County. And then there are different ways we could do it. In my memo, I said that we could, if we do it quickly, we could have a deadline of Wednesday, December 2nd, and then a special call meeting, and we could bring it back in December. If you want to delay that a little bit or give it a little more time, then it could wait until January. We're into the holidays, so if we do it, we need to do it quickly so that we would have it before the...
Personally, I would feel we need to wait till January myself, but,
I personally agree. December is going to be,
I mean, to put it back on our agenda.
yes. Other discussion?
She has the right to.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, sir, Mr. Sneed.
I think whatever the terms of any potential city attorney going forward, it needs to be term limits on it for review rather than getting to a situation where it has to be voted on for a separation. I think it should be termed. We tried to do that once before. The board didn't have the backbone to do it, but what we're looking at and what it says here is solicit proposals for attorney to provide legal services. I think we've had a lot of opinion services under the current tenure, and I had a motion that's trying to do something, for example, a while ago, and we got an opinion that doesn't comply with law. It is legal to add things to the agenda, and we had an opinion that swayed this board into thwarting what I was trying to do. And we've got people sitting up here who have opinions. We need somebody down there who just talks legal and law. So
Okay.
I'm ready to move on with
All right.
new
I make a
council.
motion that Vice Mayor Harris said move it to January.
Okay.
Second.
There's an amendment on the floor to move this to January.
The question would be, though, I mean, you're going to go ahead and put this out
I was going to ask, what are you moving to January, the soliciting proposals or bringing it to the Board of Mayor and Aldermen, like going ahead and advertising for it?
I would think we would go ahead and advertise it with a December 31st deadline.
Do we really,
Or
do
do
we
we
need a
need-
motion for that, or should we?
You all made a motion to discuss, and there's different options, so yes, I would amend it
Okay.
to decide what you all want to do.
Okay. All right. There's an amendment on the floor. Did we get a
And that's
second?
opinion you-
Mr. Trotter.
I second his amendment.
Okay.
And the amendment would read,
Mr. Harris made the motion, right?
Well, I just stated my opinion.
Okay.
I made a motion.
he made the motion for the amendment.
And your motion is for them to go ahead and move forward and to put it on our agenda for January. Am I
Yes.
correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Don't want to put words in your mouth.
You did.
And you're good with the second,
Okay.
Mr. Hubbard?
I'm good with it.
Okay. Give her just a
And I'm
second.
assuming I would amend his amendment then, because we need to set a deadline to receive these replies back, do we not?
Well, can you add that in this?
If he's willing to put it in his amendment,
Oh,
then
yes,
I don't.
fine.
We'll put that,
Well, December 31st.
If he's willing to put that in his amendment
December
and
31st.
and the person,
Second, well.
Mr. Hubbard made a second.
Okay.
Okay. All right. Any discussion on the amendment?
What's the deadline?
December 31st.
Can I ask a question? So
Sure.
if we're accepting the proposals by December 31st, is the board wanting to have all of the applicants brought at the January meeting, at which time you all can decide which ones you want to interview, and then you'll set a date going forward from there? Is that what the plan is? At some point, you have to interview, and I didn't know if you all were planning what you wanted on the January agenda, I guess. Do you want all the applicants that applied by the December 31st, or do you want to try to set some interview dates the first part of January after the deadline on the 31st so that you can actually vote in January?
Go ahead. I mean, again, I would state my opinion that
Yeah.
I would think you would just report it back to us in January, and then we would
Okay.
decide from there who we
And then-
wish to
okay.
interview
Right.
and who we don't.
I don't think
That's
there'll be
my
no
opinion.
rush on it.
We're in a hurry.
Okay.
All right. Any more discussion on the amendment?
Yes, Mayor.
Yes, sir.
I think this board needs to apprise itself the way I have about the invoices that we've received over the years of the current city council. Currently, I believe collects about a $750 stipend a month. Is that correct, Gina?
I haven't seen the bill yet for this fiscal
But
year.
the stipend, the regular monthly stipend is
It's all an hourly rate.
it's a $750 stipend for the city attorney, correct? Per
No,
month.
no, it's all an hourly rate.
That's how we made the contract, was hourly rate.
Okay, well okay, so that changed on that one.
Okay. Other questions? Discussion? No other discussion? We're ready for a roll call.
Harris.
This is on the amendment?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Schneider.
Aye.
Hubbard.
Aye.
Trotter.
Aye.
Sneed.
Aye.
Gregg. Pass 6-0.
Thank you. We're ready for our consent doc.
Without objection, I move to accept it all at one.
Okay? Any objection?
No, but the
Do we have a second?
second.
Okay?
I might state though that the chief might get a couple of charges for Metro. They confiscated some other night drag racing. Might give him a discount rate.
Any questions on the consent doc as a whole? Call the roll, please.
Schneider.
Aye.
Harris.
Yes.
Gregg. Sneed.
Aye.
Trotter.
Aye.
Hubbard.
Aye.
Passed 6-0.
Thank you. Thank you for a good job tonight. I know it was a little different, and computers were working while we got started, and we sit down before we hit the gavel, and then technology, and there's always a backup plan. I want to say we have so many people with COVID in our community that are suffering so bad on ventilators, and I would love for you to pray for those people tonight that are suffering. We have a lot of families that we all know and love, and before I turn it over to Ms. Holt, I'll ask for prayers for those folks. Ms. Holt, our city report.
Well, I have a very, very brief city report. I just wanted to remind the ones that were just elected that you now have the obligation to take your utility training. So, your mandatory utility training, and that's something that you have to do within your first year. And we will be on you, and those of you that have been through it know that it's a lot of fun, but it's a requirement now. And then I'll leave the rest of my time, Jamie Jones, who is the airport manager. Many of you have met him and some have not. He is here tonight, and he's going to have just I told him it better be brief. It's at the end of the meeting.
Is that
I gotta go.
Is that on the agenda?
A few minutes under the city manager's report. Yeah. And so he's just going to come up and invite you all to an event.
Welcome, Jamie. And I'll have to say before he gets started, if you haven't watched the movie Coming Home for Christmas and seen all of the shots from Robertson County, welcome home. Welcome home. I'm sorry. I've watched it twice. I should know the title of it. It's wonderful, and the airport was vital in that, and it was a great movie. So, Jamie, it's your turn. Ms. Holt's calling on you.
Thank you for giving us time to address you all. But on behalf of the airport board, we'd like to invite you all out to a Christmas reception at our new terminal. It'll be Thursday, December 3rd from 3 to 5. Hors d'oeuvres will be out there. And this will be a chance for you to visit the new terminal that we have constructed on behalf of the citizens of Springfield and Robertson County. It's a wonderful place. We get great reviews from pilots from all over the United States who fly in, believe it or not. And also, many of the changes and upgrades we've made to the airport since the change in management styles that the board has implemented. And again, so I really implore you all to come out and visit my staff and the businesses that are out at the airport as well. We've really turned the airport into a great aviation feature for our county. Thank you so much.
Well, I might add, it's for the elected officials and department heads, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Or is it, I just want to clarify, because we're on TV, we're live streaming now and everything, so it could be a huge deal.
I was trying to clarify that when we had our last board meeting.
Yeah.
It sounded like they were opening it up, but I'm pretty certain that it's the county commissioners, board of aldermen, mayor, and what I understand. But I can assure you that if any of the fire department or the police department was to show up out there, we would be more than welcome to have you. So please come on out.
And what we might start doing is having airport reports, like once a quarter or whatever.
Sure, absolutely.
For the Board of Mayor and Aldermen.
Ms. Holt, anything else?
No, that's it.
We'll expect a long report in December from you.
Oh, I'll be talking for 30 minutes.
Mr. Hubbard.
Yes, on behalf of the mayor and the board of aldermen, outgoing Alderman Sneed, we thank you for your service. And for the newly elect, will you please stand and welcome aboard?
Mr. Sneed, we thank you for your service.
Yeah.
Meeting is adjourned.
Good enough.